Okay, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you can see me. Oops, that's the wrong way. Okay, hi. I am going live. Oops, that is not it. Today I'm going to be doing a colour pencil portrait, starting my dog colour pencil portrait. So there's 5 dogs on. Oh, come on, why is that turned around? Apologies, I don't know why it's not flipping. Okay, I always get this wrong. Here we go. Done? Has it rotated? I don't think it has. Technology is supposed to make your life easier, right? I don't know why it's not rotating. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying so hard to get this to work. Hi, for those of you who've just joined me, I'm trying to rotate my screen because apparently that's an impossible thing to ask for a phone. I guess I'll just get started. I don't want you guys having to wait around all day for me to try and work out how to rotate this stupid screen. Anyway, so as I was saying, I am drawing this today for 5 Dog Portrait. Here is my reference photo. I am going to be drawing this one right here. Yeah, so I thought you'd like to watch me, how I do it, how I get started. Currently charging my GoPro. I use the GoPro to do it like a time lapse of my drawing. I also have my Canon camera to record all the detailed drawing parts that I can then put into videos, TikToks, mainly videos for the client so they can see the drawings from start to finish, which they normally love to do. So I record all of that on my Canon. So let's get started and choose some colours. So I'm drawing this guy. I see that he's very obviously like yellows, creams, that kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to go in for over here. I use mainly Faber-Castell Caran d'Ache Luminance. That's what this one is. Caran d'Ache Luminance, Faber-Castell Polychromos, and sometimes Caran d'Ache Pablos. That's what this one is. I quite like Pablos. They're very similar to Polychromos, like in terms of hardness, but I feel like they have a few more varieties of color. So I like to, so I'm just taking a few here, see what other colors, the usual browns. I think I've still got a few browns here from my last commission that I'm probably going to use. So I keep all my pencils here next to me, or I can easily access them going between them. These are all my little ones that I'm trying to finish at the moment. So feel free to ask me any questions if you have any questions throughout this process. Okay, pan pastels. So I've got some pastels over here. That looks like the right colours. I'm going to do a pan pastel base using my soft tool. I should have got another cover. I might use a different tool for that. Actually, I'll just use, here you go. I've got another cover for my soft tool. So I'll put a new cover on that. It's quite hard to hold the phone and do things, so I do apologise if you're getting a bit seasick. Okay, got my soft tool. Great. And now I will get out my colours. Wonder if I can put you here. Or I just sort out my colours. Here we go. So these are the pan pastels I'm going to be using. I like to put them sort of in colour order, I suppose. So I've got my browns together, all my blacks together, greens, that kind of thing. So here I've got yellows and creams. So I think I'm going to go in with a cream base and just do like this colour and just do a base coat all over the dog. So I want to put you this way now, but it's going to be really weird on YouTube, isn't it? The rotation is locked or something for some reason. I don't know. I think YouTube needs to sort this out. You should be able to rotate your screen, surely. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. It's not going to let me rotate the screen. Okay. I have a backup. Don't you worry. I'm going to put you here for a second while I just get another stand that I have. And I'll use, this is a gooseneck stand that I'm using. Okay, and now you should be able to see. Beautiful. Hopefully that's a good enough view to see what I'm doing. Thank you for your patience. I really appreciate it. I swear I was all set up, and then just because this screen rotation doesn't work, I've had to reset up. So, okay. Can it see that? Okay, good. Great. Let's get started. Turn my camera on. Start recording. You can hear my camera getting started. Okay, that's recording. Everything is on, cameras are on, materials out. It takes so long to get set up nowadays. If I didn't have to record anything, it would take me, it would be so much quicker. But nowadays you have to create videos of you doing art, so here we go. It just takes a while. So I'm just going in with my pan pastel, the cream one, and I'm just going to block in where this sort of colour is. It's not really the lightest parts. I'm going to leave the lightest parts quite white. So the paper can shine through a bit more. And the good thing about this point is that you can do quite good detail really, and angles. It's quite good for angles. I'm sort of doing this quite roughly to block it in, to sort of keep me on track of where the colours go. It also means that I don't have to put as many colour pencil layers down when I'm colouring. So it's less likely for my paper to get muddy, especially with light colours. It's very easy for things to get muddy. So I prefer using pan pastels as a base. Some people use like felt pens as a base, or watercolor as a base. They do like a rough watercolor painting and then draw over that when it's done. So you can do anything really. I think as long as the pens for using a felt base. So I'm using pastels. And these aren't too expensive. They do last a very long time. Like I've only bought like one set and it's lasted me 5 years so far. Obviously it depends on how much pastel you actually use. I don't really use that much. But really they're so pigmented, you don't need a lot. I apologise if my voice goes a bit croaky. My poor baby is ill and has made me a little bit under the weather too, but I will persevere. Okay, I think that's all the cream. It will look better, I promise. This is all part of the process. So now I'm going to go in with probably a dark brown or a black. So here I've got my black pan pastel. Yeah, I think I'll do black. I'll go in with the black. Same again. Just need to change the nib. I don't want to make all of them black, so very easy. You can buy all of the nibs separate, so you can change them as you like, which is very useful. Okay, so now I'm going to do the darkest parts. Be a bit more careful with this so I don't get the white of my paper pastel-y, because then it's very hard to rub off again. And this is going to be just a white background, this portrait, so I don't want to get any pastel on the white. Keep it nice and clean. That's also why I'm starting from like top left and then I'll go down to bottom left, because then I won't have to like lean on it, smudge it, all that kind of thing. So, and if I did need to lean, I would use a piece of paper. That's a good way of keeping your paper clean. Yeah. Or like some drafting film or tracing paper. Anything that's not gonna smudge your drawing. So sometimes you want to rotate the paper you're leaning on because it can smudge if you're moving it around too much. So just keep that in mind as well. I don't often give many drawing tips, but I do enjoy just chatting about what I'm doing. I'm a self-taught artist, so everything I'm doing basically I've done by practicing. Well, I've learnt by practicing. Maybe a bit of YouTube. I used to watch a lot of Kirsty Partridge when I first started out. But really I don't watch any YouTube or tutorials anymore. I just mainly practice and try and hone my own way of doing things, because I felt like by doing so many tutorials, I was trying to draw like that artist rather than trying to figure out my own style. So that's why I prefer not to do tutorials anymore. I prefer to just try it myself. And, once you've got some key elements down of how to blend and how to choose colours, I suppose, you don't really need to do any more than that if you're trying to figure out your own style. So this is how I like to do it. I don't think there's any right or wrong way when it comes to art. So just do whatever makes you happy, I suppose. If my grandmother is one of these people that are watching me right now, thank you, Grandma, and I love you. I appreciate your support. You always watch my videos and like everything and comment on anything. It's very lovely. Okay, so I'd say that's all my darkest parts blocked in. Beautiful little face. Now, starting with the pencils. So I'm going to go in with the waxier soft pencils, the Caran d'Ache Luminance. Probably might go in with a darker pencil first to cover up this black, because I don't want the black to smudge into the white. And I think if I started with the pencil of cream, it might smudge. But if I cover up the pastel with a black pencil, I don't think it will smudge. But maybe I've slightly done it the wrong way around. Maybe there is a right and a wrong way. So I just think about, it's so hard when you're doing really dark colours against light, because you just don't want it to start bleeding and smudging into each other, because that's when it goes muddy. And the last thing you want to do when you're doing like a white or a cream fur pet is for it to look like it's just been rolling in the mud. So at the moment I'm like roughly colouring in the direction of how the fur grows. So that's super important. I'm not like going up and down like this or like that. I'm following where the hair would grow. Even though you're not necessarily going to see these details, you're going to sort of like see the layers through the pencil. And if you're trying to like correct past layers of the wrong direction, it's just going to be so much harder for you to make it look more realistic. So just any layers you do, always go in the fur direction. Whether it will be seen or not, it's just so much easier, and I think it makes the whole thing look better. And you do less layers as well. As you can see, the colour pencil process is quite a long one. But that's what makes it interesting, I think. I mentioned in a video that I posted this morning on my Instagram that I have traced this dog with a light grey. So this isn't graphite outline, it's a light grey pencil, because I found that when I used graphite, it bled into my pencil and made it dirty. And again, when you're doing pale coloured pets, that's the last thing you want. So I've used a light grey pencil that can be easily blended into the shadows, into the fur, blend it away, that kind of thing. Or you can use like a lilac, like a really light lilac. See, because you still want to see your tracing, but you want to be able to quickly get rid of it without having to do too much. Okay, I think I'm going to use this colour now, Faber-Castell Polychromo. I just want to identify some of these creases before they get lost. So this is, I'd say it's the mid-tone of the creases. It's not the darkest bit and it's not the lightest bit. Because I will make these creases a bit darker. But for now, I'm just going in with this mid-tony brown. Just to re-identify where his creases are. And without it going too dark too quickly. The thing about colour pencil, it's quite hard to correct yourself if you've used something too dark. It's easier when it's too light because you just make it darker, but you can't really do it the other way around, not easily anyway. So I always like to do like a mid-tone first, because then I can easily shade it darker and darker and darker. Because also your perspective of tone changes as the drawing develops. Mine does anyway. So like, say I've put down this dark color, but that's not the darkest it's gonna go or be. It will get darker as I continue. This is where I'd normally be watching something or listening to a podcast. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, the Art Marketing podcast. I don't know if any of you guys know it. Really good podcast. I was on it. I think I was on it. Yeah, I was on the Art Marketing podcast, I think a couple of years ago. But I was listening to it yesterday and they had someone on it and they were just talking about like ways of knowing if your art business is successful. And I just really enjoyed listening to it because he says that you can get caught up in things called vanity metrics. And that's things like how many followers you have, how many likes you have, how many, like the social media engagement side of things. And even though that's sort of important, at this to do money and how many sales you make, because an artist that has like millions of followers, probably won't be making as many as someone who has like 1,000 followers, because it's got nothing to do with the actual metrics of how much money you make as an artist. So he was saying, instead of getting like dwelling on those things and getting caught up in those metrics, more have a look at how many sales you make a year and is that number growing? Because if that number is growing, then that's good. You're on the right path. Your business is growing. You're making more sales. If it's not, that's when you need to figure out, what you're doing wrong in terms of marketing. Are you doing enough marketing? Are you talking to enough people? Are you trying to get enough clients? Is all your efforts basically going in the wrong place? Like making hundreds of TikToks, but you don't actually get any customers from TikTok, kind of thing. So I normally like to say this to people that ask me, should I be on TikTok? Should I be on Instagram? What should I be doing in terms of marketing? And I always say like, okay, well, look at your current customers. Where did you get them? And normally it's word of mouth, friends of a friend, local community. And I said, okay, well, there's no point spending all of your time on TikTok if, the people down the street are commissioning you. you might as well put up a local stall and try and get more, because your customers are literally right there and there's hardly any competitors, because, you know, it's all very local. Whereas when you're on things like Instagram and TikTok, you're competing with the entire world for a commission. When you are local and you've got people down the street wanting to commission you, you're competing with maybe somebody else down the street if you're lucky. So I think it's always best to start, especially if you're starting out, start locally, start in your local area. Friends of friends, family members, just, I don't know, local art shops, local coffee shops, local pet shops if you're a pet portrait artist. Just start locally, because it's so much easier to build a body of work and get the experience in of doing commissions, running a business, the experience of doing different types of commissions locally. And then, you know, when you're bigger, because it's never going to go away, like if you want to be international, once you're on Instagram, you are international. So if you get a commission through Instagram or through Facebook, then great, you know. But until then, stay locally and build your repertoire, I think, as they would say. Locally, get those testimonials, get those email subscribers. You can do all of that without having a huge social media account. And that would be my suggestion for anyone starting out. And social media is fantastic in so many ways, but also really hard in so many ways. So I think to get your confidence, to gain your confidence, to feel like, yes, I can make this work as an artist, start as close to home as you can to get your confidence. Once you've got some confidence and you feel like you can, you know, proceed and grow, then start really putting the work into social media, your website, drawing attention to yourself, you know, on an international scale. Because also it affects the way you talk to potential customers. So if you don't have any confidence in yourself, and a potential customer, you know, say in America and you're in the UK, and they're like, oh, you know, how much does a portrait cost? I'd love to, you know, commission you. And you're like, and you've never sent anything abroad, or you've never done a commission, and you're like, oh no, I don't know how much I should charge. Maybe I'll just give you £20, you know, give it to you for £20. It's just destroying your reputation, because then that person would expect it to be that cheap again and again, and you're not going to build a business on £20. And especially, like, a lot of time goes into artwork. You want to be paid for your time. So just gain your confidence first before you start talking to people on that kind of level. Because they're asking you for a reason. They're asking you because they think you're good enough to ask. So don't put yourself down. Don't make it harder to make a sale just by, like, you know, telling people not to commission you. I know it sounds really silly, but I do see a lot of people do that. Is it ready? I don't think this dog is much red. That was more like a reddy brown. He's more of cooler colours, I think, rather than warmer. So I'm going now in with a slightly darker brown, just to start defining these darker areas. I do normally like to do the darkest, like define the darkest bits first, because then that gives me a really good, like, tone genre to work with. Because then I think, okay, so if that's the darkest bits, then this must be this light, and this must be this light. And so on and so forth. So that's how I normally like to work. I'm just going to go around finding all the bits that I think is sort of this colour. And again, if I then come back to it and think, oh, that was the wrong colour to use, you know, don't freak out. Just choose a different colour and try again. Because you can do quite a lot of corrections with colour pencil. There have been times where I've been drawing and I just feel like there is no way I can come back from this. It's terrible. I hate it. And I have ripped it up and started again. That's normally after a period when I've taken a break. I just feel so out of sync from drawing, from the whole connection between your brain and your hand. Like I feel like I just don't know what I'm seeing or what I'm doing, and I feel like everything I'm doing is terrible. So there have been times, you know, especially after the Christmas break, where I always have to restart my January commission because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing and I don't like it. But after I get back into the groove again, it feels nice and natural and I can easily carry on. So this dog has a lot of like brown undertones, I think, in the really dark parts of his face. So even though it might look black, I wouldn't go in with just black first. I would go in with an undertone. So sometimes I go in with a blue and sometimes I go in with a purple or a brown in this case. I'll probably go with blue and brown, I think. Because the blue cools it off a bit. Where is my blue? Blue, blue, blue. I think this sort of ultramarine kind of blue. In the very, very darkest parts, the parts that do look just so black, I'm going to put blue down first because I think it deepens the black. Well, not I think, I know it deepens the black. Otherwise your black can end up looking very flat if you go in with just black. Same with up here, all these bits are very black. Battery's running out on my equipment, so I'll have to stop soon. I swear I charged my batteries and they just seem to like not last very long at all. I might have to get some new batteries for stuff. Looks a bit like this dog is wearing blue makeup. He's a cool dog. His name is Bruno. Unfortunately, he passed away. So this commission is going to be a memorial one. And I believe his owner is getting his paws cast and having it done in a huge frame like the last one I did for her. So it's going to be amazing seeing it all in the frame with his paws and his portrait. I know you're thinking this probably looks terrible right now, but bear with me. There's a lot of ugly stages before things start looking super good. So I'm basically covering up all the blue with black. I think it makes the black look a lot deeper, a lot nicer. The black can feel quite empty sometimes, I think. So the blue just helps it, give it some depth. I mustn't lose his eye in this shadow. His eye is quite small and hard to see. I think that is right there, possibly. And this one. I think this eye is meant to be slightly higher. I'm going to use my electric eraser, which is very good. I think that's more right. Will look better once I've actually put in his eyes. But I don't want to lose them just yet. My wrist is hurting now. I've got these like gloves they're like compression gloves, and I do wear them sometimes. They do really help with my wrists and stuff when I'm drawing. But I feel like they don't really look very good on camera. So I haven't really worn them. I think I need to give him some eyes now. He looks slightly creepy. Okay. Look at those sweet little eyes. Okay, it's quite hard to see his eyes because they're in a lot of shadow, and then he's got a lot of black around his eyes, so I'm trying to make sure I don't really lose that. I do like to emphasize the eyes a bit in my portraits, so I don't do it exactly like how it looks in the picture. I like to have them a bit lighter so you can actually see them. Otherwise I find it's hard to connect with the portrait if you can't see their eyes. It's looking a lot better. I'm using some light blue now to do some of that white area of the eye. Okay, this is going well, I believe. So I think I'm going to end it there with you guys. Just because it's getting quite difficult to see the drawing from this angle. I need to stick my face in it, but then you won't be able to see it because my face will be in it. So that's what I've done so far. Here he is. So that's less than an hour of drawing. I know it doesn't look like much, but it will be brilliant. I'm very excited about this one. I hope you enjoyed watching me draw. I apologise about all the technical difficulties again at the end. Next time I will work out how to do the orientation of the phone. Okay, well, have a wonderful day, and if you have any questions, please feel free to do any comments below when the video is published, and I will answer them. And if you would like to commission your own pet portrait, then please don't hesitate to contact me. Have a lovely day, and bye.